G'day, Michael, and thank you for joining us for another episode of The Bias Opinion. Oh God, I don't know where to start really. Congratulations for your nomination for the World Championships. I guess it's a good place.
Yeah, thank you. It was like one of my main goals, I guess, coming here is knowing the Worlds was in France. I'm based in France, and having obviously a lot of racing before the selection was announced, I was hoping that was a big goal of mine to be able to get selected and race a Worlds in front of my new home crowd, I guess you could call it. And yeah, I'm really excited for the Worlds here.
Is New Zealand sending a big team over this year?
Yeah, it is. Like we've actually got I think a team of 11. I'm not sure if that's including Rebecca or not. Rebecca's chosen to do the Commonwealth Games in track cycling, which is the same week as BMX. So yeah, I think we've got a team of 11 coming over. I think we have riders in like each category in junior, under 23, elite. So yeah, it's a good step from New Zealand, I guess, to send this many riders, and I'm sure we can get some good results.
Do you know if there's many challenge riders going over as well?
I'm not sure on the numbers, but yeah, I've heard a few from my club, a few from some other clubs as well. I think with COVID, Worlds not being since 2019 for the kids, I think there's a few parents and kids that are keen to get over and do the Worlds again.
New Zealand's always had some strong representation in the amateur classes, hasn't it?
Yep. I don't know what it is. I guess like we've got good tracks, and we don't struggle for the talent. Like we struggle for the depth, and then retaining those riders into junior and elite. But a few of the young females and stuff that I've been saying for years that are going to be good have now stepped up to junior, and it's good to see Megan and Leela coming over for Worlds as well to do their thing in the elite category, championship category.
Do you think we're going to get Mike in the pits going out again?
Mike in the pits. I don't know. We'll see. This year, I'm in a much different place than I was last year. Obviously, like with injury and stuff, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to race. So we'll see. I've been thinking about maybe doing something away from the track with the riders. Normally, we stay at the same hotel, so we'll see how we go. But I'm not going to plan much around that.
So it might be Mike on the couch or
something
along those lines.
Yeah, because Pete didn't like the whole Mike in the pits name, did he?
No. I think he didn't like someone stealing his job interviewing the pro riders and doing such a good job of it.
Okay, maybe that was it. No, yeah, I'll see, because I seen James Palmer did something at Papendal with like this or that type thing, like a little fun question thing, which it seemed quite cool. I think I don't want to copy anyone's ideas, but I think there's definitely space for someone to do some cool interviews and stuff in BMX.
Yeah, well, the numbers show that a lot of people were keen to watch your interviews. Some of the ECI TV's biggest or most popular videos are those two that you did. So talking about Papendal, let's go back and talk about the last couple of weeks and your results at the Supercross races. So firstly, I guess Glasgow was what kicked it all off. How was the track in the end?
Yeah, Glasgow's track was definitely one of the kind, I guess you could call it. I showed up on the Tuesday, and just straight away I was like, this is crazy. Like, you need to be focused the whole lap. And first I found it super tiring, like just in practice trying to link some straights together. Like, you'd get a third straight perfect, and then you'd go and try and do a second and third straight together, and the third straight would be completely different than when you just did a second straight, which normally I don't struggle with that. But I guess because I was just doing so many efforts to try and learn the track, come racing, I didn't find the fatigue a problem, but it's more the mental fatigue. Like, you've got to be awake the whole lap. There's no time you can just chill, relax. I remember every lap coming out of the last corner, and there was a double manual on the last straight, where so many people would, I guess, snooze and tag something in case and then end up crashing. So every lap I'd come out of the last corner and just tell myself, like, don't sleep, open your eyes and really get this double manual. But yeah, the track was, I think it was good. I've seen a few people say it was a bit too much, but I think it was a good track and it provided good racing. I don't think there was anything that was particularly dangerous. There's certain tracks in the world where you're like, okay, this jump or this is dangerous. I don't think there was anything that was super dangerous, I want to say. And yeah, the racing for me was really good. Day one, I was a little bit frustrated with. I felt like I was riding good. I was confident of everything, and then my 1/8 final was just like ridiculously, not ridiculously. It's the elite field these days, but it was just stacked, and I got 5th, not by far, and I didn't have an excuse. I just went home like I felt like I rode good, and I got 5th in my 1/8 final, which that was the frustrating thing. It's like I felt like on a different day I could have been in the semi whatever, and I got 5th in my 1/8 final. So then the next day I wasn't accepting that, and to go all the way to the semi and then just miss out from a photo finish to make the final, to make my first final, was a much better feeling to me. And to be honest, at first I was pretty happy with 5th in my semi, and then when I went back and I started rewatching the racing, I was like, man, this sucks. Like to be so close to your first final, but not quite. It was quite hard to watch the racing, to watch that race, my semi again. But yeah, I can't complain with that. I think that was where I was at in terms of speed, and yeah, especially my semi, my gate was rubbish. So I guess when my gate's rubbish, I can't expect too much more than that.
Do you think you'll get back there between now and when the Worlds are on there next year?
Glasgow, the weather, we were so lucky with the weather. Like the whole week, the weather was rubbish. It was raining. The wind was so strong, and then race day there was no rain, and the wind was basically still as well. So we were super lucky. But yeah, I don't think it'd be a great place to train with that inconsistency of the weather. Also, I think they might change the track for the Worlds, just because the amateur track would probably be a bit gnarly for the amateurs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say no. It's a nice place, nice city, and it's a cool track.
Well, if you didn't go back there, is there tracks around France or close by to where you are that you could ride and they'd be a similar feel?
To be honest, I think like the thing that helped me there is just my technical ability on my bike. I didn't have that many sessions. I think I had 2 sessions or something before the World Cup. So 2 sessions isn't a lot. There's some people that were there a week or 2 before, and it definitely helps. But I don't think that was too much of a problem for me. I think that one of my strengths is my technical ability on my bike. So I think if I just keep doing what I'm doing, then I should be fine. Come the Worlds there. But yeah, just that's what I've always been okay with. It's just got to get back working on my gate, and if I fix my gate, I think everything else will take care of itself.
It would have been interesting for you for the 2 stops for the World Cup to have some more Kiwis nearby and a couple of Aussies to talk to, a few familiar faces and familiar accents, and it would have been different after a few months with just speaking to the Frenchies.
Yeah, it was nice to just speak fast and not repeat myself. No, it was good to have some Aussies here, and obviously McLean came over to a World Cup for the first time in a few years, I think. And then you had the big group of Australians traveling around with Max, Isaac, Ollie, Jack, Kyle, etc. So that was good. Good, like you said, good to have some familiar faces around. And when I started doing World Cups, there was like a big Aussie team that was always there, and they kind of disappeared for a little bit. And now they seem to be back, which is good.
I think first time around, a lot of them were funded. This time around, there doesn't seem to be quite as much money. So, those guys like Bodie and Max and a few of the others are, putting their own money on the line to try and score a few UCI points, get some results. It must be a tough ask.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's what I've done my whole life. So I don't see that as like a limiting factor when it comes to BMX. You've got to be prepared to delve into your own pocket to get where you want to get.
What was your highlights from Glasgow?
My highlights, definitely like seeing Jeremy win his first World Cup. I remember like being when I stayed with him in his apartment for a few weeks. Like he's got a few podiums before. He's got like I can't remember what World Cup, like maybe second or third at Papendal on his wall, and yeah, he's had a rough few years. Just to hear what he's been through, missing the Olympics because of injury, yeah, and then see him sort of come back. I guess it's his first World Cups. Yeah, his first World Cup since all the injuries and COVID and stuff, and to come out and win was pretty cool. Especially because now, like, I'm linked in with Inspire and Pride, and see how good it is for the brand. That was definitely a highlight of mine to see him win. But just myself as well, to be able to mix it in with the best in the world and feel like you belong there. That was pretty cool. I think racing in France and everything has helped that. Like there's so many Frenchies that you race week in, week out that are on the World Cup scene in the semi and the final. That makes you feel like you belong there as well. You race them every week and you might beat them in one race here, one race there, which makes you feel like you can beat them in any race, I guess. I think we had one race on Glasgow. There was seven of us in the race, and there was 5 French people, and then me plus Colombian or something. Someone called it like the French Cup race because it was 5. So I think that's definitely helped. My highlight was obviously getting 5th in my semi, being so close to that first final. And funny story, I actually finished the lap, and I had no idea if I got it or if I didn't get it. I kind of you have an inkling to yourself that you always get it. And I went around the back and looked at the big screen, and Mariana was right there, and she said, "Well done, like you got 4th." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you did it." And then David Graf was up on the corner. He's like, "Yeah, you got 4th." And I was like, "Wow!" Like my first World Cup final, and then on the big screen 5th. I was like,
"Oh, bugger!" So there wasn't much time in it, was there?
No, it was super close, and Romain Mayet, who beat me, is like nice guy, so can't complain too much. But I'll get there. It was really nice to be in the mix and yeah, have a good crack at making the final. And it's like now more than ever, I know I'm fast enough to be in that final, and it's just sort of putting it together, and I'm confident it will come. I really
am. So let's get back to World Cup and Papendal. How is that different? How has the track changed since the last time you'd ridden there last year?
The only thing that changed was the roller after the first jump they'd taken away, so it was more of a drag strip down the first straight. But the rest of the track was the same. Especially coming from Glasgow, like I think a lot of people agree, is like the track was so much more. You had so much more time to think, so much more tame. I want to use the word tame compared to Glasgow. Like you could attack everything. You go a little bit quicker. It's a bit more easy to ride than Glasgow. So it was completely different in terms of the track. The corners were way more wide open. Glasgow's corners were quite tight. So it was completely different style of racing than Glasgow. But again, yeah, I felt confident, and I guess it's just the elite field right now. Like first day I got, I think 5th in my 1/8, and the next day 5th in my quarter. So yeah, that was actually really rough to take my 5th in my quarter. Actually, it's probably the most disappointed I've been in a long time, just because again I felt quite confident. I felt fast, and just to get 5th in your corner, it's just like, damn. Weekend's done, and that's the results. But again, I think if if I had thought about that before Glasgow, 5th in the quarter is not too bad. But then, yeah, I'm kind of, as a rider, you're always expecting more and you're always wanting more. But it's good. I was happy to qualify for the Worlds. Our criteria was to make a quarterfinal, so I made a quarter and a semi. And yeah, got selected. So my focus is fully on the Worlds right now, and it's the same guys. A new track, which is exciting. I like getting a chance to ride a neutral track, and I think Scotland was quite neutral. Like, not many people other than the Great Britain boys had spent time there. They had the European champs in 2018, but again, no one's been going to Scotland to to train. So I think that was quite neutral. And then the Worlds this year is going to be, again, it's going to be very neutral. So I'm excited for that.
So where is it? Nantes. Nantes.
I think you pronounce it Nantes, but yes.
Nantes. Okay, I'm being very Aussie here. Nantes.
Just Nantes.
I'll take your word for it. But where is that? I guess compared to Paris.
It's west, so it's on the west coast of Paris. It's on the west coast of France, in the north region.
Does that put it in the wine region, close to the coast?
No idea, man. No idea.
You haven't been there yet?
No, I haven't, but I've been very close. We had a French Cup close there. We've had two French Cups on that coast, so it's very nice. I think it's close to the water, so maybe we'll get a bit of wind, but yeah, should be good. I'm excited. The guy that building the track I've ridden some of his tracks around here, and they've all been really good tracks. So got high hopes, high expectations for a good French technical track, and I think the crowd's going to be crazy, as all cycling events with the French are. So I'm really excited for this one.
It's about 4 weeks off?
Yeah, 4 weeks it is. Last weekend of July.
Oh, right. And after that, do you plan on going to Bogata?
At this stage, yeah, I'll got my flights booked. I'll go to Bogota. But I mean, between now and in Bogota, there's a lot, I guess. I'm unsure. Yeah, the stage I plan to go to Bogota. They just announced Olympic qualifying is August 1st or something. So I don't know what that involves. Don't actually care. Don't even know why I said that.
But
yeah,
you still need to consider that if you're going to have a crack at the next Olympics. Are you at the same mindset where you don't care if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't? Like,
yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, I genuinely don't care about the qualifying and everything. I think if I just, it's kind of like Worlds. I wanted to go to the Worlds this year, but I had this opportunity to come race all these European Cups, French Cups, World Cups, and if my results were good enough, then I was sure I would go. I was sure I would go if my results were good enough. And after the first weekend in Verona, making a final, solidified in my brain. It's like, okay, you're good enough. Just do that again and again and again, and you'll go to the Worlds. And then it's the same with the Olympics. Like, if I'm good enough, I'm sure I'll go.
yeah.
But at this stage where, like, my consistency is not 100% there. Like, again, making a semi-final is good, but you need to be able to do that week in, week out. So yeah, I don't really think about it. It's the same with Worlds. I wasn't like racing Glasgow or Papendal thinking about, okay, I have to make a quarterfinal to get in this Worlds team. Like, I didn't even cross my mind until maybe after Papendal, where I was like, okay, I did the criteria. Let's hope I go, and it will be the same for Olympics. Yeah, I think I feel pressure more for my friends and stuff than I do for me.
Yeah.
So,
if I retire sorry, go ahead.
If I retire one day and don't go to the Olympics, then I'm fine with that. I can sleep.
Yeah. I was just going to ask if there's much racing between now and the Worlds.
There is lots of racing in terms of like every country's got their national champs, European country, the European champs, and then the worlds. They had a race in Latvia on the weekend where it was pretty poor numbers. I think there was 8 elite men there. Just because it's so close to these big 3 races for the Europeans, and I guess there's so much on the line. So yes, there's lots of racing, but not for me. I can't do European champs or French or any national champs actually. So I'll be watching and just training, which I'm excited for. Like part of my reason for coming to Europe was to race, obviously, but a big part was to train and try and work on these weaknesses of mine. And since being here, I haven't really had a chance to just sit still and just dig deep and start training. And now I've got a month, 5 weeks, if you include last week, to really just train and not worry about a race next weekend or resting up for the race this weekend. There's nothing for me. So nothing for me till World. So it's really exciting. I've enjoyed just having time to train and to focus on like your technique and your gait and whatever. So it's good.
I can't think of any new questions for you. I'm just excited for the weeks ahead. It'll be interesting to. I hope there's a live stream for the World Championships. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure there will be.
I've heard of the format they're using is going to be Saturday is going to be the first round and 1/8 finals. So I get, like you said, I hope they live stream it, and then day 2 is just going to be the quarter semi-final. So
so splitting your race day over 2 days.
Yeah. So day 1, they'll have round 1, last chance qualifier, 1/8 final. So hopefully 2 races, first round and 1/8, and then day 2 there's the 3 final, quarter semi-final, which is a new format. Like Worlds have always done the 3 motos, 8 quarters semi-final, where they've like adapted the World Cup format over 2 days, kind of like the Olympics do. So it's a new format, and I'm sure they'll live stream it. It's the World Champs.
Yeah. Well, if we don't get to talk to you beforehand, good luck, and I hope you enjoy it and get a few interviews in for us.
That's what the interviews, but I'll enjoy it.
All right, thanks, mate.
Cool.